Hello everyone and welcome to week 2 of the daily / weekly guide for Gran Turismo. And first up we have Fugu Frenzy. Yes, Gran Turismo have decided that we did such a good job with that championship. Let's copy that format. We head to Bluemoon Bay, Infield A. Let's have a look at the race details first of all then. It is 5 laps here at Bluemoon Bay, Infield A. It is a grid start and we are on sports hard tyres and all the usual settings as well. Now you have the choice of the Greddy Fugu Z. You also have the choice of the other Zs in the game, or Zeds if you want to call them that. You have the Fair Lady Z300 ZX and also the Z33, basically the 350Z. Now obviously the Fugu Z is the best car, it's the best on the time trial boards. That's one we're using, that's one you can see in the background. Let's jump to the race then. I'll talk you through some tips, tricks, a lap guide and actually some good racing that happens here. Here we are then at the start of the grid. As I say, the Fugu Z is the best. As you can see, the entire grid is using that car, so that is the one I would go for here. Can't put liveries on, unfortunately, so you know there were some cracking liveries in that Fugu Z competition, which you know you'll find out who wins that soon. But let's jump to the race then. Traction control, whack it on one as always here, and grid start. You don't have to hold the handbrake. Make sure traction control goes to 0 before you change gear, and off we go. So we've already jumped one person. We're about to go on the inside of the German here then, heading towards turn 1. Now, the banking makes this corner a little bit weird, and there's several lines you can take, so I'd go quite tight here initially to avoid any weird weight transfers when you come off the banking. And as you go back on as well, you just got to be careful of the car stability there, because it's a weight transfer. As we head towards this left, then we're on the inside of the Italian here. Just turned in on me a little bit, it's all good. I tried to slow the car down even more to avoid hitting the driver off anymore as we go into the right-hander here. And then I just understeer off a little bit too much. He does the exact same for me. You know, just backs off enough there to leave me space. I just ran too wide there, so dropped down to P8, unfortunately. We advance a bit further on then, heading towards turn 1. We're going to go straight into the track guide here then. So heading towards turn 1, there's actually 2 things you can use here. The 100-meter board is the safe one, where you can just trail brake into the corner, or you can start pushing the limits by going towards that actual white sign there and taking a wider line in, which can work out. It's all about controlling the car here. So, you know, if you reduce the weight transfer in the car, it will actually help the car stay stable through that corner. That's the critical aspect of this car and this circuit and this combo as a whole. As you head towards this corner here, there's a little white dab there on the barrier. It's after the 100-meter board. That's what you're looking for. That's what I use. I know it looks a bit insignificant here, but as you race, you will see that more and more often. But that is what you use here. As you see, both drivers there go a little bit wide as we gain 2 positions. Into the right-hander we go. On the right-hand side there, you've got the black. It's a long black piece. As you get to the end of it, just dab the brakes and then chuck the car in and try and balance the weight again. As through we go, and we just keep it on circuit, only just so, as we head now down towards this bridge, which, guess what? That is your marker. So as you get to the bridge, this is where you're going to brake, really hammer on the anchors here, drop down to 2nd gear. Again, try and avoid any weight transfer, so keep the braking straight and true as you can, and then as you release it, then starts turning. Notice how I missed the apex there, but I managed to stop the car. As we continue round, and I'm in 2nd gear there. Heading towards this left-hander then. On the right-hand side, you got that Arage? No, it's orange. I don't know what Arage is. You got the orange marker on the barrier there. Just dab your brakes, and you're going to be constantly dabbing the brakes a little bit into this corner. It's quite a unique corner because you want to miss the first apex, and you really want to nail that 2nd apex. That's where most of the speed is. As you head out of here then, all this is basically a lift off here, really. So you see the lamppost on the left-hand side. That's what I use. Lift off. Turn the car in. You might want to aim for the inside a little bit because the car will understeer a little bit here. But you can cut this a lot, as you see there, and then accelerate through the corner. And you can gain a lot of time here. If you nail that cut perfectly, you will be gaining so much time. We advance a bit further on then. As you see, we get the fast lap of the race there, 21.3. So we're going to have some action now in towards turn 1. Just a break after the 100-meter, but before the white marker there. This time I was chancing it a bit more. As you see, there were 3 wide there for a second. Swiss driver on the inside of the German, so I'm like, oh, okay, can I get 2 for 1 here? I am so tight with this line, so I was like, nah, I'm backing out of this completely. Notice how I back out there. Let them carry on. Fight for another day. That's what I decided there. As we then head towards this right-hander here. You notice I don't brake. Oh, well, I actually pleb it there, but you notice I don't brake 100% a lot in this car. If you brake 100%, all the weight goes on the front, whereas if you brake at 50%, maybe a little bit of the weight goes on the front, and then you're not having as much weight transfer. And that's what I mean by controlling the weight in the car. You know, if you can just reduce the weight moving around the car, it makes the car more stable, more predictable, and you can actually have better racing from it because the car is under your control. As you see the switcher, I've got it wrong there. So we go around the outside, the exit there. Good little move then, into the left we go. We brake a little bit here because the German broke in front of us. You don't have to brake there, you can just lift to scrape the barrier as well. Avoid absolutely nailing that barrier. Anyway, we advance a bit further on this final lap then, in towards this right-hander. You notice how we broke at the bridge there. Oh, the Swiss driver goes right close to me there, but doesn't hit me, I don't think. Good little bit of racing there as we head to the double left then. And now I'm trying to set up the German here as we get it slightly wrong, but we notice we try and make sure we hit that second apex. That's the critical one. That's where you accelerate out the corner. So I'm going to try and get a run out this corner now. This is the goal here. Notice how I just lift, let the car roll, and then I'm balancing the throttle. I try and go for it. The German hits the barrier. Unfortunately, I've got nowhere to go. Nothing I could do. Nothing he really could do there either, or she. So a good little bit of racing. And up into P5 from near the back of the grid, so not too shabby. I actually enjoyed this race. Maybe I've got a soft spot for it because of Fugu Frenzy, but I think you can have some good races here, but it's all about car control. If you want to prove your car control, come do this race. This race is a good one for that. Let's head to Spain then, where we go to Catalunya for race B, where we are racing in Group 3. So one of my favourite combos, this Catalunya and Group 3. I absolutely love it. As I always say, I overtook Lightning around the outside twice at this combo. Just FYI. Sorry, Lightning. I say it every time. He's a much better driver than me, so I'll take any reward I can get from doing that. Anyway, let's jump to the race details then. We are racing 4 laps here at Catalunya. It's a rolling start and we are on racing hard tyres. Very typical of the race B settings. I'll say it's Group 3. I'm in the Audi because I like the combo and the Audi suits this track very well. Peugeot very much up there again. The Peugeot RCZ Group 3 car out of nowhere is performing very well at the moment. So maybe it's had a secret buff somehow, I'm not sure. But I used to love that car. They're both my babies basically. Let's jump to the race then. I'll talk you through some tips, tricks, a lap guide of course, and some more fantastic racing. Here we are then at the start. Now, I do say in Group 3, pick what you like, and it looks like a lot of people did do that. We've got a mixture of all sorts there. Peugeot, Audi, Honda, McLaren, Porsche, Aston Martin was in there. Lexus was in there as well. But let's jump to the race. I'm starting P12 here. Obviously, a few of you know the times that I'm running these at. I might be changing that an hour forward. I'll let you know via Twitter and Discord if I start running these from 2 rather than 1 o'clock. But let's jump to the race then as we get going here. So I just look behind there. So you notice how the cars at the back really start on that chicane. And Cuba there really loses out significantly. I literally P12, the maximum you want to start at. Anywhere further back, you're starting in that chicane. Very bad place to start. 4 laps. Not very many places or attempts or time to make moves here. Heading towards turn 1 now. We catch up to this Peugeot RCZ driver very quickly here. And we're looking to get past straight off the bat. So one good move or one good way to overtake at Catalunya is go for the wide line in here and try and get on the inside of the driver that goes tighter. And what that does there, as you see, I'm understeering and so are they. So as they understeer more, I start to understeer a little bit more because I can use the extra track that's just suddenly become available to me. But if you can get on the inside there, normally you can have a good run on somebody. Now this is a corner you can overtake on both the outside and inside. Just something to look out for as we jump a bit further on in the race then. So we're catching up to the Lexus here. I'm going to do the exact same thing here, but the South African goes a little bit deep this time. Just try and get on the inside here. Try and get that run through. They don't understeer off this time, so I've got to give them a little bit more room. But we're going to try and go down the inside here. In towards the braking zone we go. We just stopped the car there. A little bit of contact there, I think. Maybe a bit of net code in there as well. Nothing major. I can't do anything more than stay where I am. I think they lost the car a little bit there on the second contact. But 3 into P10, so not too shabby here. As we look towards the Subaru. I didn't mention Subaru. Subaru in this race as well. Happy days. As we continue on then. And obviously a very good overtaking spot. This start-finish straight. Long straight. And lots of slipstream available to you. Look at the closing speed there on the Subaru. Down the inside we go, heading towards turn 1. Going to get this stop nice and easy. And up into P9 then. So through we go. Let's actually advance even further on ahead in this race. And another good overtaking spot here. This is why I put this in. If you look up ahead, we're going to have GT Fatboy go for the move on the Porsche there, the French driver. And just gets it done, I think. Runs him out wide though. Didn't leave enough space potentially. I wasn't actually close enough to see that. Plus the French driver is lagging a little bit here, so maybe some issues there with netcode and what you see. Generally speaking, what I see isn't necessarily what they see. You got to always remember that when you race online. You know, the ping is very different across the world, across the globe, and where you think you are on the track isn't necessarily always true. Let's put it that way. Now, what we are going to do, because we're approaching the final lap, is actually go on the lap guide. So, first off, we're going to overtake the Porsche, which is an obvious place here. Slipstream down the start-finish straight. Go down the inside of the Porsche driver. Happy days, thank you very much. So, as you head towards turn 1, I'm going to highlight 2 markers here. So, on the left, you have the flag indicator. That's one I use all the time, especially when I'm close to the left. On the right, you've also got that gap in the wall, which, if you can't see the flag indicator, is a good marker. It's the exact same place. Really good markers here. And then you really want to have a tight line here to have a better run at this left. Now, as I said earlier, you might want to take a wider line here to overtake somebody, or you might have to take a tighter line and really slow down on that apex in order to get around the corner. There are some people on the inside of that corner there. There is a marshal, which is very obvious that you can use as a place to accelerate on that long right-hander. Here, obvious place is the gantry. Just before the gantry, you can see I'm on 100% brakes here. I actually brake a tiny bit too early, but as the gantry really hits the top of the camera, you can get the job done there with braking. Obviously, different cars, different braking points, but I'm just giving you little markers you can use. Now, one good marker, and it's very obvious because it's very bright time of day, this one, is that white little marker here. So you got the big communication pole and then a small white one, and every time that was in the corner of my eye, I broke, basically. Just after I went off screen, I brake, and then I would go around in second gear. You can use all that curb on the exit. Heading towards this left-hander, a very common left-hander to get wrong because you go too far to the right, because that is your marker here to start the curb. You always drive where you're looking. So if you're looking for that marker, you could end up going off, clipping your tyres on the right side. Just be careful of that. You want to clip the inside, don't go too far over, and then you can use a lot of that exit there. Don't be too scared to use that. Coming up here, just to lift off at the end of the curb, well, that's what I always do anyway. Some cars you might have to dab the brake a little bit, but basically use the end of the curb there to your advantage. Heading towards this sharp left-hander then on the right-hand side, we have the flag indicator there. Nice and easy to spot. That's what I use all the time. I'm actually going to go a little bit deep here, I think. That's because of slipstream, of course. And I should have broke a tiny bit earlier. As we then head into here. So GT Fatboy went for the move there. Didn't quite get it done there on the Spaniard. So through here, you basically just want to get the car straight and then dab the brakes. Let the car roll a little bit. Balance the car throttle there. Car is now balanced. We can accelerate out the corner. Heading towards this right-hander, you notice all these tyre marks. That is generally what I use here. You can also just use your eye. Basically, as you get towards the end of the curb, you're going to just dab the brake and then sort of turn in. And you can abuse the sausage curb a little bit here. It definitely in some cars. And then the final brake marker here, the gantry again, then that GT Sport gantry. Obviously, as I say, different cars, you adjust accordingly. These are just markers you can use this week in order to get the perfect lap for yourself. Now, for the chicane here, try and square the car off, as I did there on the second part, over the sausages. Square off those sausages, and you should be fine, as long as they go underneath the car. You don't hit them. We do have a run on the Aston, but we're not going to quite do that here. So, not a lot of time to make up a lot of places there. You can have some good racing, side-by-side action with some people. So, again, a thumbs up from me with this combo. It's one of my favourite combos. Happy days. Thank you, PD. You're really giving us a treat this week. Let's head to Croatia then for race C, where we are racing at Dragontrail Seaside, and as you can see, in Group 2 cars. So, this one is going to be interesting. Let's have a look at the race details first of all. We are racing 13 laps here at Dragontrail Seaside. It's a rolling start. Just be careful on the last corner. If you are near the back, you have to use both the racing mediums and racing hard tyres. Fuel usage is ×2 and tyre wear is ×7. Now I can tell you, this is another fantastic race. Lots of different strategies are available to you. We've actually done this race twice as well, so I can confirm that. We are going to look at the first race after we've looked at the second race. And the reason being, Momoz is involved and a little bit of drama. Let's look at the second race first of all, the one where there's actually some fantastic racing, and then we'll have a look at the drama at the very end. Here we are then at the start. As you can see, I didn't mention the car, but the GTR 16 car is always the best Group 2 car to use, apparently. I was hoping the Group C cars would make, not Group C, the older Group 2 cars would make an appearance, but they haven't. Got Group C on my head now. I know someone mentioned that the other day. Anyway, at the last corner, you're going to have to be very careful here. Now, I turn traction control on 1 here, just to make sure I get round. And I am still full-on drifting around this corner, because obviously it's cold tyres as well. As round we go. You notice the drift there, but I'm trying to make sure I stay in that slipstream. Now, in both races, I did that, and I stayed in, while the cars behind did not stay in slipstream. So you can see I'm just in there, the slipstream of Consta, only just, mind you. Whereas the driver behind is not in that slipstream, so you've got to be very aggressive to remain in it. Anyway, we head towards turn 1 here, and we're just looking to... Oh, wow, there's already somebody off. Yellow flag up ahead. Who's off? I can't remember what happens in all these races because I had 2 of them now. The German off there. So this race, I wanted to try the 2-stop, whereas in the first race I did the 1 stop. Now what I would advise here is that it's all to do with traffic this race. As you can see already, we're already in traffic. Our speed is then slowed and we start to struggle with dirty air. We have to lift off a lot more compared to the leaders, and you start to lose a significant amount of time very, very quickly. Look at that time shooting up there, really shooting up. Now they're on mediums as well, of course, because they want to dart away into the distance. As we head down towards the right-hander, then Costa going for the move on the Italian player here. Although it says player of Sicily, so maybe they're Sicilian, I don't know, as through we go. So strategy, what about strategy then? You can do a mixture of 2 stop or 1 stop, and you can do the funky 1 stop as well, and it is all very good, and that is very much well demonstrated later on in this race for you as well. What do I mean by a funky 1 stop? I mean pitting at like lap 4 from the hard tyre to the mediums, and the mediums will be able to go to the end to try and undercut a lot of drivers. Potentially you might want to go on the mediums and overcut a lot of drivers, but then you're going to be stuck in traffic. But that's what you do if you're in the lead, potentially. Just overcut the driver, keep going as far ahead as you can with the mediums, and then jump on the hards at the very end, as we now jump to mediums. So I tried to 2-stop because in the first race there was a lot of traffic, lots of slowdown. Obviously it's a little bit slower here, and you can see we've lost, what's that, 9 seconds did we lose there? Something around that time in terms of pit stop. It might have been 8 seconds actually, I might be lying to you there. We catch up to the German then, and they did put their hazards on there, so I did go for the move down the inside. I got it slightly a bit wrong there, went a little bit too deep, so apologies to the German driver. In fact, I whacked my hazards on there just to apologise a little bit, because they whacked the hazards on, so I thought, oh, they'll let me go, and then I sort of went on the inside and just tried to jump the gun a little bit. So yeah, that was my bad. Here we have yellow flag, chicane of death. What do we expect here? As you see, was that just Dio on the right hand side? It was before even the exit, so I'm not sure what happened there. Have a run on Matman here, down the inside, up into P12. Now you notice PX7 groove there in P14. They've done that pitting on lap 4 hard to medium strategy. It's a really good strategy. I did think about it in the first race. I just wanted to go a bit further on and see what would happen. I wasn't sure. Tyre wear, definitely something you can do in this race. As we carry on there. P11. So Matman stays behind here, which is very kind of him. He didn't have to do this. So I'm going to whack my hazards on there just to say thank you for not fighting that too much. Allows us to keep on racing here as through the right-hander we go. And we're going to advance a bit further on now and see if we catch anybody up here. Oh no, we've just got the pits, sorry. We've just put new tyres on, so this is a 2-stop. Dio's just come by there. Managed to just get ahead there. Good little move there. Just get it done before the first chicane. Wax hazards on. Not sure what that was for. He did apologise after race for bad driving, but I didn't really see any bad driving personally. I always have a good race with Just Dio. But through we go. We get a much better exit there on the fresher tyres. Now this is some big cojones coming up here. I keep it flat until they're very close to the apex there. And I'm pretty sure you can do that flat on a brand new fresh set of tyres. Very risky, but it's possible. Look how much time Just Dio lost there just from being on that inside for that turn. So we advance further on here. I'm going to take you on a track guide now. So heading towards turn 1, you've got the orange barrier on the left hand side. You can use that, use the start of that by all means. You can also use the curb ahead. I always talk about that curb being a very good brake marker. I'm going to brake at the orange curb here because I wanted to try third gear through here. You can do second or third gear, but third gear didn't drop the speed too much and made the car more controllable. So I'd recommend using third gear here over second in that first turn. This is flat, of course. Head towards this right-hander, just that place in between the two pieces of gravel where the grass is. Just brake somewhere in there. That's all you've got to do. Nice, easy braking. Again, second, third gear, tricky one for this one. Third gear bogs down a bit too much, I found, whereas second gear spins the wheels up a little bit, as you see there. So you're going to have to decide that for yourselves, tyre wear and all that good stuff to make your mind up. Here, it's just pretty much a lift off into there and then carry on through flat out. Look at this. The speed. You're going to have to be careful in dirty air though. We've not got dirty air at the moment. It allows us to do that. You have to lift off a little bit more if you are right behind somebody. Heading towards the right-hander then here. Now, I always say use the start of this curb, but actually I'm going to brake just after the start of the curb this time in order to slow the car down. You're going to go to second gear here. So there we go. You notice it's just after the curb starts there. Second gear, round we go. Balance the throttle as best as you can. I just go flat here because I'm on a balls to the wall lap here, so I'm absolutely going for it. Chicane of death. You can do this flat out if you have the cojones. Otherwise, and you will see me quite often lift off in some of these clips because I don't have the cojones. That time I did because I wanted the fastest lap and I was on for it. Head towards the last corner then. You're looking for that 100-meter board. Nice and easy here. It's better to brake early here and make sure you get on the inside. If you're going to go for an overtake though, it's better to actually go for a more outside line in the hope that nobody goes down your inside. because then you get a really good run off the corner, and you're going to have that overrun on the car in front to be able to get you past the car in front, which is what you want to do essentially. And that works with slipstream as well. So we're going to head towards the line there, 27.8, nice, and happy with that lap there. There's still improvements to be made, of course, but it's a good lap to show you for the track guide. So we're going to go down the outside of Jason Carl here. Some good racing here with Jason. It just gives me enough room there on the outside. Superb racing, that. Brilliant stuff. Shout out to you, my friend. That was awesome. I enjoyed that one. As we head now towards this right-hander, little kink, and into the braking zone. And we're just going to try and get the car stopped there. Just running a little bit deep, as does Jason behind, but it's all good. We keep racing. Happy days as we just accelerate a bit further on in the race. Look at the speed here. The nitrous has been engaged in towards the right hand. There we go. And you're going to see the Honda just lose the rear there a little bit, but we rejoin the normal speed here, right behind the Honda. And look here, this is where we have to lift. We don't have the cojones. Somebody dies there. Who was that? That was Creator. Consters died there for Team R4M on the right hand side. So up into P9. See how close we were though. It's very hard to judge that chicane when you're right behind somebody, it really is. So this is that more outside line I was going for. Jason had a look on the inside, couldn't quite get it to work out there. But if you can go even further out and come back in, you'll get a really good run on the car in front. Now, Synchro doesn't have any slipstream up ahead, so we should be able to just go down the inside here nice and easy and get the job done. I think he actually lifts off there potentially in towards the braking zone. We go and we drop into second gear there as we run a little bit deep. And then up to third gear. Make sure you're on third gear before the crest of that hill, by the way. I forgot to mention that because otherwise your car will be all over the place. So make sure you do short shift to third if you do go to second. Fast forward a bit further on then as we catch up to the South African up ahead, who gets that all wrong in the S's, on the exit of the S's. Down the inside we go. Very good awareness there by Cyberman. Just saw me coming, left enough of a gap there. And I'm up into P7. P Steve up ahead, held by Khalid there. We had a good race with Khalid in the first race, to be honest with you. But let's see what we can do here. So we've got Mario Sonic as well. And yes, we are going to try and make this 3 wide just to make it a little bit interesting here. So we go into the braking zone. And Khalid really slows the car down there beautifully. Really forces me not to be able to go for that move, but gets it wrong on the exit. And through we go. And Mario, I think, backed out of that, seeing the potential danger of a 3 wide into that corner. All good racing in the end. It's just unfortunate Khalid there lost the rear of the car as we advance through that corner, get it stopped and sorted, and we advance towards the end of the race where Max Power is about to give you some Max Power Show Tokyo Drift action right up ahead. Okay, that was terrible. I realised that was terrible. But I did notice it, and then he mentions it after in the chat, so all good. P5 in the end. Obviously, you do a 1-stop if you're in the lead, but if you're in the pack, it might be worth doing a 2-stop just to have a bit of fun there. But that's not going to be it for today's video. We're now going to jump to what I will call the death race, because there are lots of deaths in this one, and we have some drama with Momoz, of course, so let's head there now. Here we are then at the start of this race, and yes, here he is, it's Momoz! Now, to be fair, I've defended Momoz a lot, or maybe not a lot, I've defended Momoz, let's put it that way, because I've always said he's normally reactive. He never normally, well, there's one death, by the way. It's a death race, by the way. We'll put a counter on there for all the deaths that we see here. This bit is kind of good, though. Before I get on to Momoz, this was awesome. So we're all side by side there. We all sort ourselves out, lifting off, tad bit of braking there, all just organised. Nobody died. That was awesome. Unfortunately, this German did on the crest of the hill there, through the S's. Obviously, just got the car on the curb and span out. So that's another death there. And yeah, the reason we're staying on this is there's going to be another one in a second, because the infamous yellow flag will appear. There we go. Overtaking is prohibited. We know somebody has hit the barrier there, and it's the Spaniard of Fernando. As we continue on then to a bit further on in the race. Here we go then. Oh look, the chicane of death. Oh look, a yellow flag. What could have happened here? I do not know. As through we go. There's that little lift I say where you don't have the cojones. I didn't there. And it's the Greek driver up ahead who's had a bit of an iffy there as we continue. Oh look, it's a chicane of death again. And the yellow flag. It's only lap 5. Through we go. Who's died this time? It's Matman. We continue on. So this was the one-stop hard that we were doing. Going a bit further on. And yes, you can see lots of little actions going on up ahead there. Not sure what's kicking off. Oh look, Momoz is involved. That's not unusual, is it, in the slightest? But as I was saying earlier, I normally defend Momoz to some extent and say he's normally reactive. Oh, there's a death. I don't think that was involving Momoz. he's a reactive driver, so if you hit him, he then kicks off. If he gets a penalty, he kicks off. And I don't understand why. But in this race, it felt like he just wasn't having any of it anyway. Oh, as Degs just cuts us off there completely. That was a strike, by the way, in my old strike world. So we're behind Momoz here, you know, we're racing fine. It's all good, it's all fine. Good bit of racing there. So I was looking to try and go around the outside, not quite working. You know, we're just normal racing. Fine racing to me. Into the braking zone we go. And going to go around. And not going to quite do it. But that's that overrun I was talking about in the actual guide there, where you try and get the overrun here. Then you get the speed. A little bit of a netcode issue there. So let's look into turn 1. This is where it all starts, of course. So I'm on the fresh tyres here, or fresher tyres. He's on the harder tyres. So we just overlapped there, but he just turned in. Wasn't sure why. We left room there on the exit. It just hits me a little bit then again. So now I'm thinking, okay, maybe he made a mistake. Maybe he made a mistake. We'll call it strike 1, and that's it. You notice he's really pushing me to the side of the track. Don't know why. So I'll lift off there just as a precautionary measure because I expect it to be punted off. And then we look here. So I'm like, okay, well, let's go for the move again. And then he purposely starts turning left here. So I'm having to push right there to survive this. I'm like, that's it. I've had enough of this. Absolutely had enough of this, mate. Like, literally, strikes out the window now at this point. It's just frustrating, really. It really is frustrating. Apologies to the French driver, Toko. Chris was that. Got 1 second penalty there from Momoz coming back on. But I was just like, nah. So I purposely put him in the barrier there. That's it. Job done. Leave me alone. That's what you do for running off people. I'll run you off into the barrier. I knew what was coming, by the way, and you can see that with my reaction in just a second. I started to look behind me because I know what's coming at turn 1. We all know what's coming at turn 1. You can put Jaws music on if it wasn't copyrighted. So I start looking behind me very quickly here, and I notice Momoz is going to start to go out towards the left. Let's have a look now. There we go, look, so I know what's coming. I was hoping I was just far enough ahead here to survive this, but I wasn't, just not enough. Literally, if I was even 2 tenths ahead, that would have been brilliant. But I pleb it here now, because I just get a load of wheel spin. This is where you don't want wheel spin. I was talking about that short shifter third, but I'm in first gear here, so my tyres are ruined now. And you'd think that's the end, wouldn't you? You'd think that's the end, and no, it's not. So fortunately for us, we have a bit of a reunion once again, because Momoz decided to slow down, as if to ruin my race. But obviously this is my alternative account, so I'm not that fussed at this point. I'm a part of the Momoz club, aren't I? So there he is, he slowed down. I don't know if that's for a penalty, actually, maybe. That could be a penalty, actually. Could be a penalty because he was ghosted. I don't know. Maybe it was. But another British driver goes off there with Momoz in the mix, of course. I'm not sure whether that was on purpose or not. Who knows? I sort of half decided he doesn't like the British, but obviously we know where this is going.
Finish him!
Boom, Flamingo. Yeah. See you later, Momoz. Happy days. That's how you punt somebody properly and still survive. So we continue on. 4-second penalty. He doesn't actually catch up to us at that point. He's gone. But what's even more hilarious is if you look at our SR ratings there, you know, if we just zoom in there. Yes, that's right. I have a blue S. He has a red S. Red A, sorry. Not even an S. It's an A. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, I got Momoz. So I'm a part of the old club now, being Momoz. I have no idea why he acts the way he does. I even put that in the chat, actually. Where is it? I said, when will you learn? Because at the end of the day, we just want some good racing. But that's going to be it, folks, for me. Hope you enjoyed that one. There'll be a stream if you want to check that out now from somebody. I'm not sure who's streaming today. There's a video there if you want to watch another one. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. But I will see you once again very soon.